Welcome to my video lecture describing the major trends that are affecting us in the human resource management area. These different trends affect our labor force, and the labor force refers to all the people that are willing and able to work. For an organization, the labor force consists of the internal workforce and the external labor market. With this internal labor force, an organization's workers are including its employees as well as the people who have contracts to work at the organization. The internal labor force has been drawn from the external labor market. In this external labor market, these are individuals who are out there actively seeking employment. The number and kinds of people in the external labor market determine the kinds of human resources that are available to an organization looking to seek employment and filling some positions. As HR professionals, we need to be aware of the trends in the composition of the external labor market because these trends affect the organization's options for creating their well-skilled, motivated internal labor force. The number and kinds of people in the external labor market determine the kinds of human resources available to an organization and their cost. As I said, the HR professionals, we need to be aware of these trends in the composition of that external labor market because these trends affect our organization's options for creating that well-skilled and well-motivated internal workforce. And one of those trends is an aging workforce. We're looking at workers that are age 55 and older are the fastest growing group in that labor force. Some considerations we are looking at as here in HRM is, people that are planning retirement. We're retaining older workers. We need to be motivating workers whose careers have plateaued. We need to control the rising cost of healthcare as well as other benefits that are offered. Today's workforce often brings together 3 to 4 different generations in an organization. There are several practical implications of this aging workforce. HR professionals will spend much of their time on concerns related to retirement planning, retaining those older workers, and motivating the workers whose careers did reach that plateau. Organizations might struggle with ways to control those rising costs of healthcare and other benefits. Now, many of tomorrow's managers will supervise employees much older than themselves. As an organization, we are going to have to find ways to attract, retain, and prepare a youthful labor force. As more and more of the workforce reaches retirement age, some companies have set up mentoring programs between older and younger workers so that knowledge is not lost, but instead passed on to the younger labor force so we don't lose all of those essential skills and knowledge that's been gained through experience. We have a growing diversity in the workforce involving race, ethnicity, and gender. Immigration is an important source of growing diversity. HRM considerations regarding immigration are that of the supply and demand of the workforce and the need to comply with laws. In recent years, Immigration and Customs and Enforcement has focused its efforts on auditing employers to ensure that they are following proper procedures to avoid employing undocumented immigrants. Businesses that have justified hiring these individuals think that these people work hard and they're needed for the businesses to continue operating, and now they're facing greater legal risks. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, here is a model for employment projections of our U.S. total workforce by the year 2026. You can see how that is broken down by ethnic makeup and what percentage of that workforce is represented by each of those groups. Now, when it comes to HRM, there are some considerations regarding diversity. We should use talents, skills, and values of all of our employees. Our staffing selection should not use biased tests. Another thing is that employees' non-work needs should be met with some flexible schedules provided by us. We also need to educate employees on the cultural differences and stereotypes. And we need to encourage career development for the female workforce and minorities. Now, here are some HRM practices that support diversity. Diversity challenges that human resource management we create practices that ensure that we fully utilize the talents, skills, and values of our employees. We should have communication, we should have development, performance appraisal, and employee relations. This image here summarizes in which our HRM can support the management of diversity for an organizational success. As a result, organizations cannot afford to ignore or discount the potential contributions of women and minorities. Employers will have to ensure that employees and HRM systems are free of bias and value the perspectives and experience that women and minorities can contribute to our organizational goals, such as with product quality and customer service. For example, in terms of training, it is clear that employees must be made aware of the damage that stereotypes can do. And with regards to compensation, organizations are providing benefits such as elder care and daycare as a way to accommodate the needs of our diverse workforce. Successfully managing diversity is also critical for companies that compete in international markets. There are some skills that are desired in today's workforce, such as mathematical skills, high verbal skills, interpersonal relation skills, definitely computer and technology skills. In the areas of physical strength and mastery of machinery, these are kind of fallen to the side, and a lot of companies no longer see this as important as compared to the other skills. Employees must be willing to handle a variety of responsibilities, interact with their customers, and think creatively. To find such employees, most organizations are looking for educational achievements. A college degree is a basic requirement for many jobs that we see today. Now, some companies are unable to find qualified employees and instead are willing to accept candidates without an education and those required skills, which we see as being a very deficient in skill base, and instead rely on training to correct these skill deficiencies. Other companies may team up with universities, community colleges, and professional schools to design and teach courses ranging from basic reading to design blueprint reading to help break that skill gap and train the employees to be able to perform the jobs that they're doing now better and for preparing them for jobs in the future. Another trend is with high performance work systems. We have a reliance on our knowledge workers. We're looking at empowering our employees to make their own decisions. And we're looking at the uses of teamwork. And I'll look at the three of these in greater depth. But the high growth jobs generally require specialized knowledge. To meet the human capital needs, companies are increasingly trying to attract, develop, and then retain knowledge workers. And I use this term, and that's because knowledge workers are employees whose main contribution to the organization is that with specialized knowledge, such as knowledge of customers, a certain process, or a profession. Knowledge workers are in a position of power because they own the knowledge that the company needs in order to produce its products and provide its services. These knowledge workers must share their knowledge and collaborate with others in order for their employer to succeed and meet their organizational goals. Now, I talked about employee empowerment. This is where we're giving employees the responsibility and authority to make decisions regarding all aspects of product development or even customer service. Employees that are allowed to make more decisions, they share in the resulting losses as well as the rewards. Now, the use of this tends to lead to more innovation and sharing of ideas in our organizations. Human resource management practices such as performance management, work design, and compensation should be considered here. Now, employee engagement leads to higher productivity. We tend to see better customer service. And because of this empowerment, we tend to see lower turnover in an organization because the employees feel like they are more part and contributing to the success. I also talked about a trend in high-performance work systems, and I talked about teamwork. Now, teamwork, this is that assignment of work to groups of employees with various skills who interact to assemble a product or provide a service. They're not doing it as individuals, they're coming together and collaborating. One way to increase employee responsibility and control is to assign our team members to work in teams. Work teams also contribute to total quality by performing inspection and quality control activities while that product or service is being completed. Now, technology is enabling teamwork even when workers are at different locations and they're working remotely and even at different times. This term you've probably become familiar with this term, virtual. Well, these organizations that do this use virtual teams. These are teams that rely on communication technology such as video conferencing software, email, and their smartphones to keep in touch and coordinate the activities. You might even see that we're using some project management software such as Microsoft Project to help coordinate these activities and keep everyone on schedule. Now, teamwork can motivate employees by making work more interesting and significant. At organizations that rely on teamwork, labor costs may be lower as well. Teamwork is a necessary component of more and more computer programming tasks. Companies that are out there that are developing software are increasingly using an approach they call Agile, which just involves weaving the development process more tightly into the organization's activities and its strategy. Teamwork can motivate our employees by making work much more interesting to them and more significant to them with that buy-in process. Now, human resource management must support company strategies. We're aligning processes and practices with the company goals. We need to be able to support the company decisions through quality improvement programs, mergers, acquisitions, and restructuring situations. HR professionals are increasingly being asked to use their knowledge of our business and of human resources to help our organizations develop strategies that align HRM policies and practices with those strategies of the organization. This image I'm showing you here summarizes the strategic issues facing human resource management. These strategic issues include emphasis on quality, like total quality management, and decisions about growth and efficiency. HRM can support these strategies, including efforts such as quality improvement programs, mergers and acquisitions, and restructuring. Now, decisions to use re-engineering and outsourcing can make an organization more efficient and also give rise to many HR challenges. International expansion presents a wide variety of HRM challenges as well as opportunities. Human resources use a lot of technology, and we see a lot of technological change. HRIS, Human Resource Information Systems, can help HR professionals think strategically and support our talent management by integrating our data on recruiting, performance management, and training to fill open positions. I mentioned the term HRIS, or Human Resource Information Systems. This is a computer system used to acquire, store, manipulate, analyze, retrieve, as well as distribute information related to an organization's human resources. Another technological change we see is that with cloud computing, which is the practice of using a network of remote servers hosted on the internet to store, manage, and process our data rather than having it in-house. We have a lot of systems that we can use through cloud services, such as software as a service, where we're just kind of using the software on an as-needed basis, and we're not having to manage it in-house. Our IT department doesn't have to do the upgrades. But whenever we need access to it, we have access to it as long as we have an internet connection. Here I also want to talk about analytics of our people. The use of computers to analyze large amounts of data and offer information to guide our decisions. We have a lot of raw data. We want to turn that into useful information. And one technological area we're seeing where this can become helpful is with AI, or artificial intelligence. This is just technology that simulates the human thinking process and applying experience to deliver better results over time. AI can improve our HR decisions in areas such as job analysis, recruiting and selection, our performance management, and employee relations. So there are a lot of technological changes that are occurring and will occur in the future that are going to help us in HR. These are just a few of the HR trends that we're seeing. Just thank you for following along, and I hope you will find this information helpful. Maybe even go out and seek some more information on trends in human resource management.